ComC.com is your home for buying, selling, and flipping all the hottest trading cards. Their consignment marketplace is home to over 24 million cards across all sports, genres, and eras. With a ComC.com account, you can purchase cards from different sellers over time and ship them home together later, or immediately reprice them for sale on the ComC marketplace. To better serve the hobby, ComC recently made changes to streamline their services and improve turnaround. They even opened a new building. To learn more about the exciting changes being made at ComC, please visit blog.comc.com. You're listening to the WaxPackHero Sports Card Minute, a podcast where we discuss both the hobby and business sides of collecting. I'm your host, Mike Summer, and I want to help you buy, sell, and trade your way into a collection you'll love. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WaxPackHero Sports Card Minute. We have had several weeks now where I have had a guest on and we've had those conversations, so I thought it was time that maybe we just did an episode where I was able to share some thoughts that I had been thinking about, and just kind of a solo episode this week. And I was trying to think of what I might want to talk about, and I think where I landed was that I would cover some of the things that I've been collecting over the recent months and recent weeks. You know, there's been a lot of angst in the hobby over these last couple months. There's been times where I've honestly been a little frustrated and I started to get a little burnt out. Bo, the 1 Million Cubs project, he had kind of done an episode on his video show where he was talking about how he was getting frustrated, and not at the hobby and not at collecting, but on social media. And I think that's part of where I was at too. There was just so much angst that I was seeing on Facebook and on Twitter. To some extent, I wasn't even sure what people are talking about because I've been so purposely trying to avoid negativity. And so to kind of wrap all of that up, I thought maybe I'm just going to talk about what I've been focusing on, what I've been trying to collect, what's been making me happy over these last few weeks as I try to continue to build my collection. And as I've thought back about that, there's a few overarching themes that have come to light, things that are reinforced about approaches to the hobby that I've discussed in the past that I realized I'm doing today with these items as well. And here's those three things. We'll start with the overarching themes before I get into the specifics. First of all, I've realized as I've looked back that I have pivoted. I have changed my approach to collecting. I've changed my approach to what I'm buying due to the current dynamics within the hobby. Second, I've found that I really started to enjoy collecting and adding pieces to my collection of many things that are a bit off of the beaten path, a little bit that are not mainstream. Not everything, as you'll see, but much of what I've been buying is a little bit off the beaten path. And then third, it's reinforced that even though some of these things aren't necessarily cheap, I've still been able to successfully use my self-sustaining hobby strategy and approach, which only adds to the enjoyment that I'm experiencing by buying and adding these pieces to my collection. I'm going to get into the specifics, but first I'm going to, as I always do, tell you about Underdog Collectibles, the online shop run by collectors for collectors. They break new product every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday night, and you can find out what they're going to be breaking this week and how much it's going to cost at udogcollect.com. If you want to join their Facebook group, the Underdog Collectibles Facebook group, that's a great place to go and have some conversations and get connected with other people who enjoy talking about their breaks, celebrating the hobby, and talking through their hits. And you can also subscribe to their YouTube channel. It's a great place to watch their actual break shows every week. So check them out at www.udogcollect and tell them that WaxPackHero sent you. First, let's talk a little bit about how I've shifted, or maybe what I'm buying from a sealed wax perspective. And it starts with not very much. I have foregone any attempts to try to track down retail at Target or Walmart. And now, as we know, at Target, it's going to be on pause for a little bit. But I had already stopped even trying to find any of that stuff. And that has really minimized my frustration with trying to track that down. I've also firmly come to the conclusion that I love opening wax, but I don't love opening wax at the current hobby rates. And so even though I'd be able to pick up some of that type of stuff at my main LCS or through some other local hobby shops in the area, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pay $300 for a Bowman hobby box. I'm not going to pay $300 for a score box of football cards. I'm just not going to do it. I don't love it that much. I'll pick up the singles that I want to get later. And so the only sealed wax that I've been getting is through the Future Stars Club that Topps offers and the boxes that have been made available to me through the 582 Montgomery Club pre-sales. And I'm fine with that. I'm able to get them at pretty much close to the MSRP that way. I'm only getting a couple of boxes to open, but you know what? It's enough to scratch the itch. It's enough to let me have some fun with that and or sell it if people really want to pay exorbitant amounts for the sealed wax. I'm happy to do that too and be able to utilize those funds elsewhere. Panini, if you're listening, I would love if you offered something similar. Upper Deck, if you're listening, I would love if you offered something similar. Some kind of subscription product that would allow us to get access to either hobby or retail product at close to MSRP, join some kind of club, pay up in advance for what we could expect to get over the course of the year. I would love it, and I would sign up instantly if you offered a product like Topps does. So that's how I've been approaching sealed wax. Now, what about singles, or what about other types of things? I've been having a ton of fun tracking down the 1972-73 Topps basketball set. I'm down to only needing a couple of the different Dr. J cards in there, and I will have that set complete. But I've been able to track it down a lot on Sportlots, on ComC, and a little bit on eBay as well. And I've really filled in all but those last couple cards that I need. And I've been having a ton of fun put that together, going back through those, learning about some of those players from that era that I didn't know much about in the past, and just really just enjoying that design. That branched off to me uncovering in my million card purchase when I bought out the shop a big stack of already separated 80, 81 Topps cards. And so I've been putting together that set as well. I'm still a little bit further away for that one, but it's been kind of fun to track down that set that have already been separated. You know, I like that. I was able to go buy some tobacco card sheets, which fit those separated cards perfectly. They seem to be in adequate supply and a reasonable cost. And you know what? Yeah, they're not perfectly mint 3-card panels anymore, but I like that they've been separated. I mean, that's how they were designed. That's what kids were supposed to do back in 1980 when they bought those, is to separate them into the 3 individual panels and collect them and trade them and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm having fun putting that set together in that way. I've got the Magic rookie already, the main one. There's still a couple of the other Magics that are in that set that I need to track down, and I still need to get the Larry Bird. So I still have probably a few dozen of those cards that I'm still acquiring, and I will be acquiring over the course of the summer. But I'm having a lot of fun putting together that 1980-81 set, but as individual separated cards. The other big area that I've been focusing on for the last few months is, it's really, yes, oddball wrestling issues. Ever since I started talking more with Brett McGrath and Zan Morning, they really got me thinking back to those glory days, quote unquote, glory days of wrestling when I was a kid. And I've had a lot of fun going and tracking down some of these things. And it started with the Carnation set that I was able to track down. And then it moved on to a few other kind of weird food releases. So the Quaker Dips from Canada and the Hostess mini stickers from Canada. Those were things that I was able to go out and buy or trade. I did a trade with Ryan Cracknell for some of those types of things. And that was all made possible because I went out and bought about 5 or 6 complete Swanson's wrestling set from the early 90s. Again, another Canadian food issue release that there's just not a lot of here in the US. I think at one point I probably had the most complete Swanson sets of any US seller after I made a big purchase from one of the Canadian eBay sellers. I was able to trade those for some other unique wrestling sets with Zan. That's part of what I used in a trade with Ryan Cracknell. And it's another unique item for me to have both in my own collection and for me to sell at the shop. There's just not a lot of them out there, and I find that cool. Unique, oddball, food issue wrestling sets are something that I've had just a blast putting together and learning about. Also provides an opportunity for me to make unique content on the blog and on the podcast to discuss. Having a ton of fun, celebrating those old wrestlers, celebrating weird oddball food issues. And like I said, if I said it once, I said it a million times on this episode already. These are things that are making me have a ton of fun in the hobby. The last pickup that I want to cover today is one of my all-time Mount Rushmore cards. One of the cards that I've always wanted ever since I was a kid, but had never been able to get my hands on. And that is an 86 Fleer Jordan rookie. One of my hobby friends at his shop, he came across a PSA 1.5 Jordan rookie and had it for sale. And I thought about it. Man, what's he looking for? Is there anything that we might be able to trade for? I don't know, maybe. Well, I went ahead and said, you know what? I am going to reallocate some of the profits that I have made. I've covered the cost of this card with my sales so far this year. It's been a good year so far. I might as well buy one of my all-time cards so I can add it to my collection. It's paid for with profits. Let's go ahead and do it. So I did. It's a PSA 1.5. There's a crease on the back that runs through but doesn't really come through on the front. The corners look great. If you look at a lot of the other 1.5s that are available on eBay, this doesn't look anything like that. In my own personal opinion, it looks like a pretty strong 1.5. But you know what? That doesn't really matter. What that 1.5 let me do is get a great looking card at a relatively affordable price based on what it is that we're talking about here. Another thing that made it even more affordable for me is that I was able to flip the Formula One Sapphire box that I got as part of the 582 Club into money towards the trade. And so I was able to turn that $100 I paid into about $650, $700 worth of trade value, which only brought down the cost of that Jordan even more, which is a win-win in my perspective. I look at this card now in front of me every day, and I'm just like, finally, I've got this. I've been looking at it every day, and it's great that I can mark that one off the list. So there are some of the things that I have been buying and collecting recently, things that I've been adding to my own collection, which just bring me joy. Let's go ahead and take a quick break so you can hear from my friends at MoCo, and then we'll be back to wrap things up.
MoCo is your small-town local shop with a global reach. Conveniently located in New Buffalo, Michigan. We're an easy drive for most residents in Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. Come see us every Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 5 and Sundays from 12 to 5. Want to shop from the comfort of your home? Give us a call at 269-469-0140 or visit our website at thesportscardshop@moco.com or our Facebook page. Major credit cards and PayPal accepted, and we ship anywhere in the world. We're an authorized dealer for both Panini and Topps, with new sealed wax from both arriving weekly. And yes, we have PSA and SGC graded cards and over 250,000 singles in stock. Be sure to follow us and turn on notifications for posts to Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter so you don't miss out on new arrivals. The Gocher family has been serving this community for over a decade, so stop by or visit us at thesportscardshop@moco.com.
All right, we are back to wrap things up. I just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. First, if you are getting frustrated with the hobby, if you feel like you're starting to get burnt out, don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to take a break. Find something that you do enjoy about the hobby and focus in on that for a while. If wax is frustrating you, stop buying wax for a bit. If chasing a certain player or a certain brand is frustrating you, then mix it up. Do something different. Find something else that you can enjoy doing. You don't always have to do things the way that you've always done them. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Let me know what you think. Reach out to me on Twitter at TheMikeSummer. Send me an email at WaxPackHero@gmail.com. I would love to hear what you have to say. And if you don't mind, I would also appreciate it if you left a rating and review at your podcast app of choice and you tell a friend about the show. I would love for some more people to find the show, be a part of our community, and you telling your friends is one of the ways that can happen. Thanks again for listening. That's all I've got for you today, so I'll catch you next time.